Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
Hey, welcome back to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. I'm your host, Dave Snowberger, joined in the studio today with Alicia Taco Hooper.
Yeah.
Marshall Tucker.
Hello.
And special guest, Rookie of the Week, James Mendez. Got it right this time.
Yes, you did.
Got it right this time.
We got it.
Wearing a name tag that says his name on it, and I still got it wrong. Oh,
The only one with the name tag.
Oh my god! All right, well, let's get into this again.
Okay.
So yesterday, I think we were ending up the episode. We were talking about lead generation and kind of sphere of influence. Okay, so we're done with sphere of influence, or are we? Let me touch on that one real quick. Sphere of influence. Everybody listening to this has a cell phone. I'm sure of it. If you have 50 contacts in there or you have 1,000 contacts in there, that is your sphere of influence. Text message, call every single one of them and tell them that you are now in real estate and how kick-ass you are and how they need to use you to buy or sell their homes. Start planting those seeds now, because in a year you won't be as new as you are right now, and people will start trusting you a little bit more with a little bit more experience that you have. Am I fair to say that? Is that fair?
Yeah. Fair. And don't be afraid to ask them if they know somebody.
Right.
If they're not ready, okay, who do they know?
Right, and to form alliances with other people who have their own businesses.
That's right.
Referrals.
That's probably one of the biggest things right there is the referral business.
Yes.
This is a word of mouth business, and that's really how real estate was built before all the fancy, I don't even want to say their name, starts with a Z, ends with a L-O.
It rhymes with pillow.
Yeah. there's the Redfins and the Trulias and all those stuff, all these lead generation systems, real estate used to be built solely off referrals. There was the local agent that knew everybody in town. Someone mentioned selling their home or buying a home. That person really had mind share, which I like to call TOMA, T-O-M-A, as top of mind awareness. They had that top of mind awareness that, you should call Alicia. She's a killer realtor that works our neighborhood, and she controls the neighborhood because I see so many signs over here. You would be foolish not to use Alicia.
That's right.
These days, it doesn't really roll like that. It still can.
Absolutely.
But it's more up to the agent to really maintain that top of mind awareness and maintain that mind share, and they do that through the easy button stuff. That's where social media kicks in pretty hard.
Yes.
Where you get to cast a wide net through using your social media and using, smaller networking events, maybe pie giveaways, things like that,
right.
Working your sphere back to your sphere again. So, what do you think? Did I cover that? Mm-hmm. That was one of my little squirrel. Went down a path.
That's good.
That was a smart
Path.
squirrel, though. Not
That's
like
pretty
mine.
good.
Cool.
If you're starting in a new city, that makes it a little bit more challenging if you don't get out as much
Yeah.
and actually talk to people.
Right.
Which is when I first got here, I wasn't out in the city.
Yeah, you can't be an introvert.
Yeah,
No,
I just didn't know hardly anyone. Luckily, I had a veteran community that I was able to tap into, and that kind of spread from there.
Yeah.
But I literally knew maybe 5-6 people in this entire city. So they're talking about hit up your sphere. I'm like, well, everybody's in California or other states. Almost none were here and able to help kind of get through those early days.
Right.
So it was more of
that being. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, just getting out there and forcing yourself to find things that you're interested in, and then going out to those, and then meeting people, and having conversations, and remembering your scripts, or the conversations that you need to have to understand people, and then you can kind of convert those, as long as you're not doing that first conversation of, hey, I'm an agent, let me sell you something. It's like,
Right.
well, nobody wants that for any occupation.
Yeah, if you got commission breath, you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
so
sure.
you got to find that balance.
There's a fine line, that balance of not being undercover agent,
Yep.
and then not showing any kind of desperate, ploy to get their business, or over trying.
Yeah, but you still have to ask for business.
Right, but
At
you still
some
have to
point,
ask
once
the
you
business
get
for some point.
the relationship going.
As long as you come from contribution and you are genuinely interested in whoever you're talking to, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Coming from contribution is huge, and the minute I realized finally that I've done sales for quite some time, and I've never really physically sold anybody anything.
Yeah.
I've never really had to sit there and do a hard sale. I've always facilitated, whether when it was at Dell Computers, I was selling massive deals of 150 laptops or whatever else. It was something somebody wanted. I just guided them through the process. It's the same thing here.
Absolutely.
I don't sell. Nobody wakes up the next morning and says, "Oh my God, I can't believe I bought this $1 million home. I can't believe that guy did that to me." You're never going to find that. You're
Buyer's
never going to find
remorse.
that. But what I did was I really, in the past 2 years, identified what I am is what I like to go, once again, one of my next little acronyms is PPS. Is I'm a professional problem solver. And so all I do is solve problems all day long. I solve problems that they can't solve, the consumer can't solve for themselves. And so once they're a consumer and I solve their problems, then they become a client.
That's right.
Then they become my referral base.
Right.
Then they become my sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Then they go in my database and they get follow up with every year. Now that might sound a little cold and impersonal. They're in your database and so they're not
Some
really
become
a
my
person.
friends.
I was
That's
gonna
not
say,
true.
they become your
Most of
friends.
them are my friends. I
Yeah,
get invited
absolutely.
to events. I get invited to
You're partying
their
with them.
houses
You're hanging
for
out.
I know
Yeah.
about their
Christmas
kids.
or-
I know about everything that's happening in their life.
Absolutely.
And we stay connected.
Yeah.
They drop me off pies
Right.
over Thanksgiving.
You're like,
Thanks a lot.
I did this
Really,
right.
my waistline really appreciates
I
that.
get invited over to about 20 houses on
Exactly.
Thanksgiving.
You gotta roll me out. Give me a wheelbarrow.
You'd be surprised, though. You can actually stay more informed about your friends by, although it's kind of bad, by keeping them in a system like that, because you're almost incentivized to pay more attention and kind of keep track of that things.
Right.
It just shows that it's keeping them top of your mind consistently, like the spread of your friends, and so you're more engaged. You're remembering holidays or special events, birthdays, just anniversaries, and doing things for them. So you're still coming from contribution. Yeah, it's in a system, but it's better than your brain like scrolling off 50
Right.
million times a day.
Not-
But you can actually be a more attentive friend.
Yeah, and not everybody will get this analogy, but I consider it almost like fantasy football. Like I can't watch that much football, but I just kind of dive into fantasy football. It forces me to keep a track of football. It forces me to keep track of all the stats that are going on. You guys might not see that correlation. No one's agreeing with me. So.
It's oddly accurate.
And so it's one of those things that it forces me to keep up with my friends, and it really, like you said, it forces me to be better.
Right.
Be better at communication, open up more lines of communication. It forces me to say hi to people when I want to say hi, but it's just not on that top of mind awareness all the time to reach out to somebody for their birthday or whatever else. I have a hard time keeping track of my family's birthdays.
Sure.
For some reason, my clients hear a lot more from me than my family does, which I'm sure my mom's going to love to hear that.
Your friends are also your
Buy a
biggest
house,
supporters.
Mom.
So you keep track of your...
She's bought 3 from me.
Okay, there you go.
So your friends are also your biggest supporters. So if you're
That's
keeping
right.
track with them, then you're going to hear the little things like, "Hey, so and so just got married. My sister just got married," or just whatever's going on in their life. And then you can be like, "Well, hey, can you introduce me to her?" And from there, your friends are now helping you as well. So,
That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
referral. And I think I touched on it a minute ago, but don't be an undercover agent.
Never.
Right.
You just can't do that. You have to throw it out there. And we live in that golden age right now where social media is key. And social media doesn't necessarily help me sell homes, but social media has sold a lot of homes for me.
Absolutely.
And it's helped my clients out selling their homes, and it's helped other buyers buy homes because I get to throw it out there that I'm really good at what I do, toot my own horn. But my team's really good at what they do, and then we go the extra mile for you when we solve all your problems. And once we prove that to you, we've got a loyal client. And really where that relationship all started was either a referral or it started on social media, which generated a referral.
There you go.
All my friends from high school. I'm helping 2-3 friends from high school right now. I'm helping some of their parents. I grew up in their houses, hanging out and remembering their pools and everything else. And I've been going on the listing appointments lately as life moves on and people are getting older and moving on and maybe downsizing homes. I'm getting those phone calls, and all that's from keeping in touch with all the great friends that I met here growing up in Austin all my life. So
full circle. I
yeah,
love it.
full circle. It's very cool stuff.
Yep,
very cool.
Very cool.
So lead generate. Okay, so I sit in a room all day long. I lead generate, right? So I do all these things, and I call FSBOs, I call expires, I call some withdrawals. I follow up with maybe some referrals. That's still lead generation in a sense.
Oh yeah,
you know.
for sure.
But really, it breaks me off in step number 2 here is lead follow up. Mm-hmm. Would you say is more important than the actual lead? I don't think anybody in this room has lead problems, right?
Right.
We all probably have lead follow-up problems, right? Is keeping in touch with the potential customer, staying on top of them. We all know that, once again, customers, clients, whoever can almost be like herding cats, because you're trying to get a bunch of decision-making adults in the same room at the same time to make a big decision like buying a house,
right,
or getting them with a lender, or getting them with things. So the follow-up is really where the fortune is, right?
Fortune's
the fortune in the follow-up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what's your follow-up strategy like, Marsh?
Follow-up strategy? Well, we keep a CRM, so I'm able to see when I last contacted someone.
Hold on. CRM? What's that?
What is that?
Why don't you tell us, James?
It's a client management system. It basically, think of like a spreadsheet.
Sounds like
Excel.
a CMS.
Yeah, basically it's just a database of all our clients, and it has all their information in there and all the notes that we've previously had conversations with them, so we can go back and not say the same thing twice, or where they're at in the process.
So it's a customer resource manager is what you're trying to say.
Absolutely, that's what.
Fantastic. I'll have to look into one of those.
Yeah. And the best CRM is the one you use.
Right. Yep. We just took an age-old question right there and nipped it in the bud for you new agents out there.
You're welcome.
The best one is the one you use.
Even if it is Excel.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so Alicia, give me some.
Hold on, I wasn't.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Wasn't done.
Oh.
She get her turn. But as I'm going through the CRM and touching back on the leads, I just wanted to share a success story. I followed one lady around. Was it 8 months? 9 months?
Yesterday? 9 months.
Literally followed her.
She finally picked up the phone.
Stalked her wherever she went.
I know where you live.
She finally picked it up after 9 months, and we had a great conversation.
That's awesome. I love it.
Lead follow-up.
Never give up.
What problems are you going to get to solve for her?
Finding her a house.
There you go.
Good stuff.
Shortest amount of time, and the least amount of money. The least amount of problems.
Cool. And so now we've lead generated. We've called our sphere. We've lead generated. We've lead followed up, and now we're going on appointments, right? Mm-hmm. So that's part 3 of our job description as an agent, which I'll go ahead and say out real quick out loud. Is our job description as agents is to lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and then the biggest, most important thing as a new agent, which we're going to touch on here, most likely in part 4, is to practice and role play. I've removed the word scripts because scripts make everybody go, I don't want to do that.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah. I'm not scripted. I don't want to use
be
scripts.
out.
Don't be out. That's very important. So let's get into going on appointments. So now we've got a client. Mm-hmm. We decided we're going to solve some problems for them by letting them in a few houses. We're scheduling things. What does that mean, going on an appointment to you?
Going on an appointment to me for a buyer is setting expectations. So not only am I going to guide them through the process, but I'm setting those expectations up front on how I operate my business so they know what to expect every step of the way.
Perfect.
Know what she said. No.
Ditto.
Hashtag ditto.
Yeah, just going on appointments is making sure that you've asked all the right questions and you're not wasting each other's time, and that they're qualified and that you know exactly what they may not even know what they're looking for. I don't know how many times they tell me they're looking for one thing and we end up with something else.
Right.
So it's really about asking the right questions.
So
That's a great point to go back to the follow-up. You need a pre-qual.
yeah.
I was just going to say that.
Yep.
So going on appointments doesn't mean, hey, I'm sitting in front of 123 Main Street.
I'm on the way. Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy John's Real Estate. Freaking fast showings.
No, but your template tempted to do that. Like, I especially starting
as a
out,
new
like,
agent, for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to get out there and help people. 'Cause coming from contribution, that's how I've always been.
Right.
And I just wanted to get out there as fast as I could to show them what they wanted to see and help them get through the process. And I did not understand how much time of mine and most importantly theirs that I was wasting because I didn't take the time to sit down and ask questions or even find out what questions to ask them before we even started looking.
Right.
And so as I just not botched things up, but as I inefficiently went through the process,
Fell forward. That's
yeah, I started remembering like, oh, I need to ask where they're looking, what their price range is, like some very fundamental questions.
How they determine their price range.
Yes.
Yeah.
For income.
Is this from you or the lender?
Yeah. Or leases and like their income. If they're buying, have they even spoken to a lender? Like there's some very fundamental questions you need to ask, and it can literally take less than 5 minutes sitting down with an experienced agent to get those questions, so you can ask them before you start jumping in your car and driving all over the city.
That's right.
Most important question you can ask is, are you working with another realtor
Yes.
at this time? Because the minute they say yes,
That's fantastic. I'm glad you're open to working with a professional. Tell me, what have you done with this agent?
wow, you sound so
Have they
prepared.
sent you any listings?
Oh,
have you
wow.
actually gone out with them?
Have you signed any?
gosh.
Is the number one.
How did you learn all these things, Marshall?
Practice and role play.
Oh, there you go.
How about
All
that?
right. Which touches on our point. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Tomorrow we're going to get into episode 4. We've got the same crew back tomorrow. We appreciate everybody listening. If we're boring you,
Too bad.
too bad. So it's going to get better. It's going to get better, I promise. All right, you have a good one.
Bye, y'all.
I'm out.